welcome to Germanna Today. I'm Ashley Anglin, and with me is my co-host,
Cheryl Huff.
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you.
We have a lot of exciting things to talk about today, cybersecurity and networking and the new Stafford Center. But before we get to any of that, we have one of many wonderful student success stories of a Germanna alum who in the mid-'80s was a C student drifting and says that he found himself through contact with one of our counselors at Germanna and just has an incredible story to tell. So I think without further ado, let's go to the video interview of Ting.
I'm a doctor of osteopathy with a specialty in emergency medicine. I worked for the Dodgers for about 11 years. 2 years ago, I became an airline pilot. I was flying for United Express, and now I fly for Atlas Airline on a Boeing 777. I'm so happy that I can practice medicine. I'm so happy that I can fly a jet around the world and get paid for it. But it all started out at Germanna. My name's Ting. I was a student at Germanna from '86 to '88. Germanna was a good choice for me because it taught me to believe in myself, and it gave me confidence. I didn't go into medicine because you can make a lot of money. It never crossed my mind. I was actually working part-time at a auto body shop, fixing cars. I thought that's my career choice. I want to be an auto body man, get some college experience so I can understand the manuals and how to fix cars appropriately. And I got hurt all the time, when you try to take the parts out, you cut yourself or you hammer your thumb. That's how I got into medicine, because I hurt myself all the time, fixing cars. And as far as flying, that was always my interest. I never thought about turning it into a career. It just kind of happened. At Germanna, what I learned was that you have to believe in yourself, and you have to believe in your dreams. And while you're believing, you have to roll up your sleeves and you have to go to work. You have to go to class, you have to study. But at Germanna, they taught me to pace myself. And don't rush. Do it well, learn it well, build your confidence. This is the right choice. Don't be afraid to dream. Don't be afraid to take it one step at a time. And eventually, it will happen for you. Germanna is where everything begins.
Virginia has more than 33,000 openings for cybersecurity positions. We have some people with us today who are going to talk about the new 2-year degree program that Germanna is beginning to implement.
Joining us today are Diana Merkel, who's our department head for the new cybersecurity program, and also Sharon Williams, who is Germanna's Center for Workforce, Business, and Career Coordinator. Thank you for coming, ladies.
Thank you for having us.
So it is 2 different degrees that we're offering?
I would not call them degrees.
Okay, 2 different programs. What do we call? Yeah, tell us about that.
Many ways that students can take advantage of a career in cybersecurity.
Which is obviously very timely. Yeah.
Absolutely. One of the quickest ways to do that is through our workforce portion of Germanna Community College, and Sharon is the expert on that area.
Okay.
And there is a significant difference between taking classes through the workforce and going through the credit side. The difference is that if you're taking a class through the workforce, you're taking them specifically towards a certification.
Okay.
Preparation.
That maybe your employer would be looking for, kind of thing. Okay.
Exactly. Or it could be something you want to introduce yourself to a new field, and you're not necessarily interested in going through the credit side to take classes. You would want to take a workforce course.
So the credit side being people that are seeking an associate's degree, 2-year, right?
Correct. And on that side, students have an option of exploring cybersecurity through a career studies certificate, which is a smaller number of credits, but gives them a certification. And then our pending degree program, which is a full-blown cybersecurity program. The career studies certificate is appropriate for people who perhaps already have a degree in another area, because right now, 85% of the people in cybersecurity started elsewhere, such as human resources, marketing, operations. So in order to move in your career to cybersecurity, that might be a good starting point. Those who wish to get a complete 2-year degree in the area, a little more expertise, can do our degree program, which can be transferred then to many of our area 4-year institutions.
Perfect.
So when I hear cybersecurity, I think about this security training that we have to do once a year, and they kind of terrify us about
As
breaching.
faculty, right.
Yes, you know, basically the list of don't you dare do this. So I know that I am a little intimidated by the idea of cybersecurity and would not know where to begin studying it. What are some of the classes like? What are some examples of classes that you take toward these programs?
And it depends if you're going to take it on the credit or the non-credit side. If you were to take a class on the non-credit side, and one of my instructors will go into more details with that, but if you were to be taking a class on the non-credit side that would address some of those areas, one could be Security Plus. And in a class like Security Plus, you'll be taking the classes with just the hours that will lead you toward preparing for the certification exam.
Specifically. Okay. And then on the credit side?
We also offer a 3-credit course that would lead you to a Security Plus exam. In fact, looking at the internet this morning, there are over 7,000 jobs that require a Security Plus certification in Virginia alone.
Wow.
So that would be a good one to get started on either end. If you wanted to try the immediate certification requested by your employer, or if you were exploring the idea of a cybersecurity degree, the Security Plus certification, which is our Network Security Basics course, is a good one too.
Wow, okay.
Dabble in, see if you have an interest and an aptitude.
Right.
It helps you with both.
Sure.
And if you find that it's not your cup of tea, well, you've just learned a whole lot to protect yourself, your family, your small business.
Yes.
That's a good point. You really, everyone should probably know something about it. Sure, yeah.
Right.
So all those jobs out there, what kind of employers are tending to look for this? Is it like all businesses want someone who can do this, or?
Let me ask you a question.
Okay.
Can you think of one career or one job that does not require the use of information technology?
Not anymore, right?
Exactly.
Not
Yeah,
anymore.
exactly right. So-
Every employer
Yeah.
needs to have a cyber presence.
High demand area.
That's wonderful.
It's in such high demand that we are offering courses online in a hybrid format, and we try to offer them in as many of our physical facilities, including the new upcoming Stafford facility that's going to be opening in the fall.
Great.
So Stafford will be an option for these classes.
It will be an option for many of the courses in a cybersecurity degree.
Very good. Well, it sounds like we have
Right.
lots of questions
Yeah, we
left.
do.
I think we're going to go to a break right now, and when we come back, we're going to talk to Thomas Gallagher, who's also from the Workforce Center, on more specifics of what kind of courses students can take to meet these needs for their own careers and for the community.
Yes, thank you
So
for
yeah,
having
thank
us.
you very
Thank
much
you.
for all the
Thank you.
information. Sounds like really good things.
I'm Ben. I'm a communications major. I got my start here at Germanna. The opportunities that this school offers is absolutely great. As soon as I stepped on campus, I felt very welcome. The staff, the students, the guidance counselor, everybody just created an environment that I can call home. Transferring from Germanna to Mary Washington was really simple and not complicated at all. Of course, everyone likes to save money. Tuition here is a third of what it is at a university, and the great thing is that you can transfer without debt. Germanna is the right first choice.
Hi, welcome back. We have a guest with us, Tom Gallagher. He is an instructor at Germanna for our new cybersecurity tracks. Welcome.
Thank you. Yes, how do I get to cybersecurity? Well, I started off as a network guy in telecommunications.
Okay.
And because the way the network works, people try to break in through the network. So my expertise in networking became a bridge into cybersecurity, and did a security analysis for a couple of years in the federal government, and gained some expertise in it. What I tell my Cisco students, which are doing the network switches, routing the traffic for the internet and corporate networks, is everybody needs to be an expert in security in order for this to work right. You have to have the programmers, the people that run the networks, the people that run the servers, all have a little bit of network security to make things work better.
So you would recommend these courses almost to anybody, it sounds like, to at
Yeah,
least the like dip your toes in it kind of thing.
Yes, anybody in IT. Earlier we talked about the security awareness from the user perspective.
Right.
Well, as IT professionals, we need to do that constantly.
Okay.
It's a constant battle to keep up on what's the latest and greatest.
And this is probably one of those fields where even once you get a certification, you're wanting to like update right to the most recent knowledge that's going on the networking and stuff like that. You can tell that I'm have a PhD in comparative literature. I don't know a lot about networking, but I'm sure that that's something that you have to like maintain, right?
Yeah,
the current, yeah.
Well, recently they came out with these ways to break into Intel processors called Spectre and Meltdown.
Okay.
And basically every computer chip in the world is basically vulnerable to this.
It's like a virus? Or?
Not a virus, but a path to actually break
Okay.
into the network.
Okay.
They haven't proven it yet as far as having a workable solution, but everybody knows there's a problem and patching the networks. So 2018 might be the year that the computer speeds go down, because to patch the network, to patch the processor, we have to slow things down.
Okay. And this is the kind of thing that we're studying in
Yep.
workforce and on the credit side also?
Absolutely. The credit side not only has students working on preventing people from hacking, but one of the fun courses that students find is our hacking course, where they actually try to get
Okay.
into systems. And for many of the businesses, it's considered a white hat hacker, so you're trying to do good. You're asked to do this in your business. The government has a lot of this to prove that the system is as secure as it can be.
Okay.
So we offer that as well.
I like that.
Tell me, how would you describe like the sort of ideal student for cybersecurity? What would their interest be? What would their background be?
I always ask students 5 questions, and if they can answer yes to many of those questions, then they're well suited for cybersecurity. The first would be, are they an explorer? Are they interested in looking beyond what's going on day to day in their life? The second question is, are they a problem solver? Because they need to be able to diagnose issues and look at things from all angles in order to figure out what the solution would be. The third question is, do they feel an ethical sense within them? They're guardians. They must look at other people's data, and they have to make sure that they can feel it is secure from everyone, including themselves saying anything about it to anyone.
Yes, please.
The fourth question is, do you consider yourself a lifelong learner? IT is not a career for someone who just wants to learn one thing and then only do that same thing over and over again. It changes on a daily basis. And then the final question is, are you a good communicator? Because you must be able to speak to all kinds of people about how they're approaching IT in businesses and so on.
Then, right?
And my response to my students is, if you've got all 5 of those with a yes, then you're perfect.
You're the dream.
If you don't have all 5, Germanna can help you say yes to the rest of them. So we can go there.
Gone are the days where you slide the pizza under the door for the programmers.
Correct.
They have to communicate with the rest of the organization to make this work.
But is there still pizza though? I mean,
There's pizza, but
there is
it's
pizza.
a social environment.
There is a lot of teamwork involved in IT. And
that sounds good. That sounds like not what you think of the stereotypical hacker, right, in solitude, and
No.
yeah, it's not
You
like
know,
that.
I do have a hoodie and I would have worn it. That is the typical picture that people see
Right,
of a hacker.
right.
Oh, I think
But
I've seen that,
hackers
yeah.
are all kinds of people in all areas of the world, and the people who prevent hackers are all kinds of people, including many of the people we have at Germanna.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I like to play on a little bit of what she's talking about, lifelong learning. Sometimes a 9-to-5 type job, when you're trying to do this as a 9-to-5 job, you get far behind quickly.
Okay.
You need to have a very curious mind, and the curiosity will excite you. You know, I always say a good day in IT, you're excited, you want to go to work and learn new things. On the bad days, I think, what am I doing this for? And I want to go sell used cars. But most days are exciting and learning something new. You're always learning, always learning. Even the experts are learning all the time.
And to that point, there are so many different disciplines within the information technology and cybersecurity area. Some students come to Germanna and find that they might not have a knack or an interest in the hardware and the networking area. They might go into the graphics and the web design or database.
Okay.
So there are a lot of ways that a student can begin exploring cybersecurity and then find a niche that will apply to them. There are many entry-level jobs. A 2-year degree from Germanna can place you into a well-paying position if you apply yourself. And we've had many of our students move on to excellent 2-year positions. I hate to tell you, ladies, they're making
making more than we do.
than starting professors make at Germanna. Yes.
Well, that's pretty much everybody.
Yeah, that's a bit of a theme. We hear a lot about
Yeah, we hear that
how
a
well
lot.
our grads in the different programs
That's
can do.
right.
And you know what? You guys go.
Yes.
That's perfect.
And especially for veteran students. If they
Yeah, oh, yeah.
already have
Right.
a security clearance or have had it in the
Yeah.
past, it's so much easier for them to get placed
course it is.
immediately in a
Right.
government
Wow.
position.
Right.
But
Which is-
if
yeah.
you don't have your clearance or you don't intend to get your clearance, there's still many positions out there that students can move themselves into.
All right. Well, yes,
Great.
again, thank you so much
Thanks
for
again.
coming. And yeah, I feel like this is definitely timely and people are
Yeah.
going to want to know about it.
Yeah,
So we're
it's
very
great.
glad to have both of you here.
Great.
Thank you.
And we'll be back.
I graduated from Germanna with an associate's degree in engineering. I chose Germanna because of its guaranteed transfer agreements and its faculty. My professors really cared about my success and they helped me get where I wanted to go. I'll be completing my 4-year degree at Virginia Tech and it'll be a lot less expensive.
Germanna's guaranteed admission agreements offer you acceptance to a host of 4-year universities when you meet requirements of the agreement. Make Germanna your first stop on the road to success. Germanna Community College. Your future, our commitment.
Hello and welcome back. Earlier in the show, we talked a little bit about our Stafford Center and the plans for the Cybersecurity Center there. And we talked about the 2 degrees, abilities that you could have to get certified for cybersecurity. But we're also looking to have a new Stafford Center built within possibly 7 years or so. And with us today is Bruce Davis, who is the president of the Germanna Foundation, Education Foundation. And you have some history with the plans in Stafford. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, thank you. The plans go back all the way back to 2009 when Germanna rented the small center that we use now at Aquia Harbor. 4 little tiny classrooms. Within the first 6 months, there were over 1,000 students there, so it was quite clear.
I subbed there very early
There's a
on. It was
need.
at capacity.
Yeah.
Yes, right
Yeah.
away.
So it became clear very early on that we needed a larger facility, and so that started a long dialogue with potential donors and the county. Stafford County has always wanted to try to, around the Stafford Courthouse area, make it into more of a community. So that's one of the reasons Mary Washington Hospital built the Stafford Hospital there. That's one of the reasons the interchange on I-95 is being changed so that there's easier access into the hospital. There was a developer called H.H. Hunt, which is out of Richmond, a very large apartment complex developer, and they bought a chunk of land to build apartments adjacent to the hospital.
Okay.
And as part of their proffer to the county, they agreed to donate 25 acres for a potential site for Germanna Community College to build a center.
Good.
So over time, that maybe started in 2013 or so, and it's taken until now for that finally to come full circle. So just recently, the Stafford County Board entered into a memorandum of understanding with the Educational Foundation and its Real Estate Foundation Board, which holds all the real estate. And that land will be transferred to Germanna, and then the clock starts ticking. We'll have, we think it'll be 7 years or so before the building is actually completed there, which is why we've rented a facility near there in a much larger facility than what we currently have at Aquia. And so that will tide us over for the 7 years or so that it'll take before we can actually have our building, initial building built on that site. There's also the possibility of an additional 8 or 9 acres that's adjacent to that 25 acres that may be donated as well.
Oh, okay. By the same donor or?
Different. This
Okay.
would be Stafford County and the city of Fredericksburg. And it's owned by what they refer to as the R Board, which is basically garbage and recycling. It was, that land years ago was designated to be part of a dump. And then Stafford County over time has changed their plans for that part of the county. So they really don't want a garbage dump next to
A hospital.
a big apartment complex and a hospital and a campus. So the thinking there is that that land will transfer eventually too. That's not a done deal, but there's been lots of discussions about that.
Maybe with
so.
just the 25. I know that area a little bit, and it is kind of like a mishmash right now. I can see why they're wanting to have more of, like a town center kind of feeling
Right.
with,
Exactly, because Stafford is a very interesting county. You've got southern Stafford and then North Stafford, and then there's a lot of people that live in between, but there's no real, it's not like there's a city or
There's no there there.
there's no there there.
Right,
And
which there
so-
is. There's a lot of it, but yeah.
So the county supervisors have had the foresight to try to build that, and it's taken time, but it's slowly beginning to happen.
Right.
So, and we're happy to be a big part of that. So,
Yeah, and it's a great area for like our students because
Absolutely.
Route 1 and 95, it's very easy access
Right.
on and off to there.
Yep.
I mean, I've taught and been up to Stafford Campus many times, and from downtown Fredericksburg where I live, it's almost as close as going over to.
Depending on traffic, right?
Right.
right, the
Going
time
to
of
the-
day.
Yes,
big
right.
campus.
exactly.
Yeah.
But for our students that are maybe coming
Right,
from
different
jobs in
times.
DC or to a job in DC, that's that much easier for them, or that just live up there, because sometimes getting across the Rappahannock is
It's tough.
Yeah.
Well, one of the things that a lot of people don't understand about the community college system in Virginia compared to like a 4-year university system. 4-year university needs a new building. Their board goes to the state legislature, the money gets appropriated, and bingo bongo, you get a building.
on their existing
Right.
footprint. Yeah.
Right. With community colleges, the way the Community College Act was written in the late 60s, and the key word there, the operative word there is community. Community colleges have to raise 10% of the cost of the project
Up front.
up front
Okay.
before the state will bond any money through the legislature to pay for the rest of the building. So, for example, when we did the science and engineering building
the Fredericksburg campus.
at the FAC, that took probably 6 or 7 years before it, all the moving parts came together. The local money was raised, the legislature, got involved, and there's a hierarchy of that the chancellor's office kind of rates. Okay, who's got the biggest need, and that's how the money gets allocated. And so there's a lot of moving parts, and it takes a really long time, which is why most people are like, gosh, 7 years, that's like way down the road. Well, it is way down the road, but it's the way the process works.
Yeah.
And so,
It's a bureaucracy.
right,
Yep.
and we have to work within that. So,
But we're grateful to be working
yeah,
within
yeah.
that.
Now, the other thing, as far as the local monies go, we've got 2 big leg up legs up on raising that money already. The Stafford Economic Development Authority pledged $1 million towards the initial building on that center. And we also, the Freed family, Adam and Rhonda Freed, very graciously offered up $1 million to honor their family, his father and mother. So we've got $2 million down, and probably need another couple million to go before the state will allocate the money. So.
All right, I'll start asking around.
Okay, please do. Yeah.
Dig in your couch cushion.
Please do.
Into the car seat.
We're going to be working real hard. The Educational Foundation will work real hard with local donors and also with companies that would benefit from workers coming out of the Stafford Center. For example, cybersecurity workers, healthcare workers, because the expansion of the nursing program with some courses there.
Which is just growing like crazy.
Right.
Yeah,
And there's such a need. It's just incredible.
everywhere.
Right.
Yes, absolutely.
So,
and particularly with the hospital right there, that's such a natural pairing.
Yep, we can feed nurses right into the Stafford Hospital. So, and also with that large veterans, it's not a Veterans Administration Center, but there's a large healthcare facility on the corner of the Stafford Hospital.
For veterans.
It's actually for active duty families, and I believe veterans as well.
Wow.
It's a huge center. So there'll be a need for healthcare workers for there, allied health as well as nurses. So there's a great future in Stafford for Germanna.
It sure seems that way.
Yeah, that's very true.
Bruce Davis, thanks for joining us,
Thanks for having me.
telling us about Stafford.
Yep, good things.
Let's go out to the Stafford site.
Hi, I'm Jack Rowley. I'm on the Stafford Educational Foundation. I'm also on the Stafford Economic Development Authority. And for years, the Economic Development Authority of Stafford has wanted to expand Germanna's presence in Stafford County. And way back in 2009, we were so fortunate to have Germanna come and open 5 classrooms, which we needed, and our Economic Development Authority actually contributed $300,000 to help with that move. Then a few years later, Germanna was looking to relocate their automotive educational facility, and again, the Stafford Economic Development Authority helped with that. We're really pleased now because Germanna is going to expand their presence in Stafford by just about 3 times in a brand new building and located near Stafford Hospital. And this building is going to be terrific and wonderful for our students and wonderful for Germanna. This is sort of the first phase of moving into a permanent location that we actually own rather than a leased facility. And we've had land, 25 acres, donated from Stafford County to Germanna to be held by the Germanna Educational Foundation, their real estate foundation. And that 25 acres will be the beginning of the permanent campus.
Well, we're excited to see what the next steps are going to be for the Stafford Center. Very good news. And this brings us to the end of the story of cybersecurity and Stafford Center on Germanna Today. We'd like to thank our guests, Diana Merkel, Sharon Williams, Tom Gallagher, and Bruce Davis. And thank you.
And thank you. Another great hour with you.
Absolutely. Learning things we didn't know about Germanna.
Lots of things we didn't know. And maybe next career.
Right, possibly. We could make more money.
When I heard what they're making,
Yes, that sounds really good.
Sounds great.
Thank you for watching another episode of Germanna Today.